आनन्दमानन्द करप्रसन्नं प्रेमस्वरूपं ब्रजभावयुक्तं योगीन्द्रमीड्यं भवरोगवैद्यं गुरुं कृपालुं प्रणमामि नित्यम्। चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं दावाग्नि निर्वापणम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणम् विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण। यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रणोति तस्मै तद्वंहा देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। भगवत चरणारविंदानुरागियों, by the extreme grace of our revered Master Shri Maharaj Ji, we are having a very auspicious event over here today of continuous kirtan. Because in this era of Kali Yuga, there is no other authentic method of realization of God. Kirtan is always very important, and it is the best source of realization of God. Although there are many methods are depicted in the Vedas, in other scriptures as well. But very popular methods are 9 which are depicted by Prahlad Ji, the crest-jewel of saints, Bhakt Prahlad, Navadha Bhakti. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasya Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. There are 9 methods. But in Kali Yuga, only one method of God realization is mostly applicable, and that is Kirtanam. Kirtan. Kali Yuga keval naam adhara, sumir sumir nar utarahi para. the best granth of bhakti is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, written by Rup Goswami Ji Maharaj. And he says, Krite yadhyayato Vishnum Tretayam yajato mukhai Dvapare paricharyayam Kalau tadhari kirtanam. Krite yadhyayato Vishnum. In Satyug, people were performing tap, austerity, and they could realize God through austerity. But in Dwapar, we don't have that long span of life. In Satyug, the human beings have the life of thousands of years, and one austerity takes thousands of years. That's why in Satyug they could do austerity. But in Treta it was not possible. Then what they were doing, the human beings were following the path of yajna, the fire sacrifices. They were doing yajna. And because they had the knowledge of the Vedas, they had respect for the Vedas, they could understand the Vedas, their life was pious, that's why they could follow the Vedas fully. And thus, they were performing yajna. And they were offering their yajna to God. They were not doing the yajna mechanically only by their bodies, only by singing the verses from their mouth. They were offering them to God. Thus, they were also realizing God. When Dwapar Yuga came, in Dwapar, the span of life was more shorter. And the faith in the Vedas, faith in the words of the scriptures and the saints was also reducing. So what were they doing to realize God? In Dwapar Yuga, the human beings do the seva of the saints. They had reverence. In Dwapar, we still have some reverence for the saints. So, worshipping, doing seva of the saints, the human beings were going across the ocean of Maya. But in Kali Yuga, neither we attain that long life to perform austerity. We do not have the knowledge, the perfect knowledge of the Vedas also to perform yajna properly. And we do not have faith in the saints also, because there are so many impostors in Kali Yuga. They learn something, they learn little bit, Gita, Bhagavad, etc., and they start giving lecture and they claim that they are the real saints. So 90% saints in Kali Yuga are impostors. That's why we cannot have the reverence for the saints as well to serve them. Then what is the method? What should we do to realize God? Only one, Kirtan. Because Kirtan does not need any kind of knowledge of the Vedas or the scriptures. Even if you do not have time, there is no restriction of nadesha nimas tasmin nakar nimas tatha no chishtado nishedos tyarinam lubdhake. Nadeshanemastasmin. There is no restriction that you have to sit this kind of place only. When we do yajna, etc., there are restrictions. First of all, we have to find out a pious place, and then with some mantras, we have to purify the water, and then with some mantras, we have to purify the place with that water. Only then we can perform a yajna. But this kind of restrictions are not applied in kirtan. We can start doing kirtan, we can chant anywhere, at any time, sitting anywhere. Apavitra pavitro va sarvavasthangatopī va yo smaret pundalikaksham svavaya abhyantara shushi. Wherever you are sitting, whatever you are doing, don't mind if you have taken bath or not. You can chant the name of God. There is no restriction. So it is more feasible for the human beings or Kali Yuga. That's why Tulsidas ji also said in Ramayana, Krita Yuga Sab Yogi Vigyani Kari Hari Bhajan Tarahi Bhava Prani Treta Vividh Yagya Nar Karahi Prabhu Hi Samarpi Karma Bhava Tarahi Dwapar Kari Raghupati Pad Puja Nar Bhava Tarahi Upaya Naduja. But Kali Yuga Keval Hari Gun Gaha Gavat Nar Pavahi Bhavatha. Hare Namaiva 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 Mama Jivanam Kalau Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Padma. All the scriptures are saying unanimously, Kali Yuga Keval Nama Adhara Sumir Sumir Nar Uttarahi Para. There is no other way in Kali Yuga except chanting. We have to do kirtan only. This is the only way of realization of God. So all these scriptures are saying, even the Vedas say the same thing. Like the Rig Veda says, Sadate Naam Swayasho Vivakmi. Your name, the glories of your name. We are singing the glories of your name for our own benefit. Marta amartasya te bhurinam mahamahe. We are martya, means our body is perishable. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityur dhruvam janam mritasya cha. Whoever takes birth has to die one day. So our body is like that. But you are eternal. You are divine. So we should chant your pious name. Again the Rig Veda says, Agnim girbhir havamahe. We should use our words. We should use our tongue only for the glories of God. Yajurveda also says, Tratar mindra mavitar mindram havamahe. All these verses are saying the same thing, that we must chant the names of God for our own benefit, to purify our own heart. So, Kale dosha nidhe rajan nasti he ko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajet. Bhagavat. Shukdev ji Maharaj is saying to Parikshit, although there are many flaws in this Kali Yuga, but eko mahan guna, there is one very great thing, very great quality in Kali Yuga. Kirtana Devi Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Braja. Only by Kirtan we can realize God very easily, because there is no rule, no regulation, there is nothing like any kind of restriction. So we can easily worship God, and we can realize God in Kali Yuga by Kirtan. So we see that all the scriptures are unanimously talking about the significance of Kirtan, and Mahaprabhu Chaitanya, who was the mixed avatar of Sri Radha Krishna, he is God himself. He is not Yuga avatar. He is Swayam Sri Krishna. He is the avatar of Swayam Sri Krishna. He also said, Naam Namakari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Nimita Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tav Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishamiha Janina Niraga. O Shyam Sundar, you are so kind that you fill all your power in your name. In other words, you sit yourself in your name. You made your name so powerful. If we pronounce the name of God, it means God himself is here. But in the next line he says, Durdaiva midishit miha janina nuragaha na anuragaha. Even then, as it is said, the impact of chanting name is God realization. This is the result of chanting. One should realize God. But we are seeing that we are chanting the names of God so much. We have taken the names of God so many times, but there is no effect on our heart. We are not getting any love for you. We don't see any change in our mind. We are not getting closer to you either. This is our Durdaiva, means misfortune. Here, the question arises that why Mahaprabhu Chaitanya is saying that although you have all the powers in your name, you infused all the powers in your name, but we are not getting any benefit of that, then why you say that it is Durdaiva, it is misfortune? It could be misfortune of ourselves if we were not pronouncing the names of God, if we were not doing Kirtan. Then we could have said that it is our misfortune, although you put all your powers in the name, but still we are not pronouncing the name of God. They are not willing to pronounce the name of God. It is our misfortune. But we are pronouncing. We are chanting. Then why? And how come it is Durdaiva? Any word uttered by Mahaprabhu Chaitanya cannot be wrong, cannot be doubtful. So it means there is some secret. What is that secret? The secret is that Yoga Darshan says, Tat japas tadartha bhavanam. We should pronounce the name with his bhavana. When you pronounce the name of anyone, what do? Before pronouncing the name of someone, the person comes in your mind. Suppose two people are sitting over here. The name of both of them is Shiva. One of them is your son and one of them is someone else. And you call, Shiva, come here. The other person comes to you. You would say, yes. Why did you come here? You would say, you called me. No, I didn't call you. I heard. You said, Shiva, come. So I came. No. I didn't call you. I called my son. His name is also Shiva. So when you called Shiva, that person was not in your mind. Your son was in your mind. You were expecting your son to come over there. So in the same way, whenever we pronounce the name of God, we can get the recompense of the name only when we remember God. It should be in our mind that I am pronouncing the name of Ram. When we say Ram, Ram must appear in our heart. We should feel that I am pronouncing the name of Sri Ram. I am not pronouncing the name of anyone. So when we pronounce the name of someone, it is natural that the face of that person comes in our mind. Like if you have 4 sons and you are very busy in doing something, and you say someone that, can you call him immediately? Him who? My son, Suresh? No, I'm not talking about Suresh. Dinesh? No, Dinesh. Ramesh? Yeah. Ramesh. So, he could not recall his name, but the face of Ramesh was in his mind when he was calling him. In the same way, when we also remember God, and He is not in our mind, we are singing Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda, saying, but if we are thinking about something else, then we are not pronouncing the names of God. We are not singing. We are not doing chanting. That's why Sri Maharaj Ji said very clearly that whenever you are going to pronounce the name of God, feel like He has come in front of you. Feel the presence of God. That is called Roop Dhyan. All the saints say the same thing. They remember God. But nobody explicated it, that what is the meaning of remembering God. If I say that tat japas tarat bhavanam, unki bhavana banakar unka naam lo, then he would say, well, I am singing Radhe Radhe Govinda Bolo Re. So why we know that this is the name of God. So the bhavana is there. No. That is not the bhavana. Bhavana means remember Him. And remembering means the face, the form of the person must come in your mind. So we are missing that part. We pronounce the name of God without having any bhavana, without remembering Him. So if we chant day and night without remembering God properly, we will not get even 1 mark, we will get 0. You may say that I did kirtan whole night and I will get only 0 marks. Why? At least I did kirtan. I was not singing filmy songs. I am not singing any other folk song. I was singing the name of God, at least I should get some marks. Something is better than nothing. Yes. Something, it is not even something. It will be called something when you are trying to do Roop Dhyan. You are trying to remember God, but because the bad sanskar, you are failed to do Roop Dhyan. You fail to remember Him. Trying again and again, but I am not successful, then it is something. But if we don't understand, we did not even have this concept that before pronouncing the names of God, we must remember God. We must bring His form in our heart. Only then we are entitled to pronounce the name of God. Kabir Das Ji said very clearly, माला तो कर में फिरे, जीह फिरे मुख माही, और मनुआ तो चहु दिशि फिरे, ये तो सुमिरन नाही. The mala is moving in your hand. Jeeho phire mukh mahi, saying Ram, 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 Ram. So your tongue is also moving in your mouth. And where the mind is, manuwa to chahudishi phire. It is roaming all around the world, everywhere. It's not focusing on the divine form of God. Ye to sumiran nahi. This is not smaran. This is not remembering God. No matter what you do, day and night. There is an episode in Bhagavad. Once Lord Krishna, when he was grazing the cows in a forest, all of a sudden he said to his friends, I am very hungry. Bring some good food for me. The Sakhas said, Kanhaiya, this is a forest. How can you expect good food in the forest? Where can we bring good food for you? And he said, see, the great scholars, the great pandits of Mathura, they are performing a yajna over there. And today is a culmination day. So when the closing of the yajna time comes, and that day they make very scrumptious food, the variety of food. It's not too far from here. Go there and tell those pandits that Kanhaiya is very hungry, give some food to us. So when they went over there, so they were in the process of just finishing that yajna, and the boys stood in front of them. When they saw those boys, and they guessed that they are ready to ask for something, they were very angry. Being outrageous, they said, why are you standing here? And they were reciting the mantras to culminate that yajna. Vishnu rara tamasi Vishnu ho snaptre sto Vishnu si Vishnu Vishwameta swaha. They were offering the food to Vishnu. Then when they saw that the boys were still standing, they were very angry and they said, why are you standing here? They said, Kanhaiya is very hungry and he wants some food. They said, don't you know that when the yajna will totally finish, only then we can give you the prasad. Why are you standing here, you illiterate boys? Don't you even know that? They scolded him like anything. And they go away from here. Come after the culmination of this yajna. They were disappointed. They went back to Kanhaiya and said, Kanhaiya, they didn't give any food. They scolded us badly. Then Thakurji asked him, did you ask their wives as well, the gopis? And no, because yajna, the pandits were doing the yajna, that's why we didn't ask the ladies. Go again. And this time don't ask the pandits, ask their wives. The Sakhas went over there, and when they said to those ladies that Kanhaiya is hungry and he wants some food, they were very, very happy. They immediately decorated the big thals with lots of varieties of food. And they decorated themselves as well with very nice shiny clothes. And they said to Sakhas that we will also go to offer this food. We'll feed him with our hands. And when they reached over there, Thakurji was so happy. All the Sakhas were very happy. They all ate the scrumptious food of yajna. And Thakurji was so happy, Shyamsundar was so happy that he bestowed bhakti to them. When those pandits came to know that who is Sri Krishna and what these ladies attained from Sri Krishna only by love, then they were repenting. They said, see, we did the yajna, such a big yajna. We accomplished the knowledge of all the Vedas. We accomplished the knowledge of performance of yajna. We are the great Brahmins. We did yajna, but we didn't get anything. Rather, we committed a sin. We offended Lord Krishna. Although we were saying Vishnu, Rarat, Masip, Vishnu ho, Straptresto, Vishnu ho. We were offering food to Sri Krishna. But when Sri Krishna himself came to get the food, we scolded. We insulted them. Then they are repenting. Dik janmanastru vidvidyam, dik vratam, dik bahugitam, dik kulam, dik kriyadaksham, vimukhaye tadhokshaje. What is the point of doing all this yajna? Woe to us. We did nothing at all. And look at these ladies. Na samdhyati sanskaro na nivaso gurapi na tapo natma mimansa na shaucham na kriya shubha. They never read the Vedas. They didn't have the Yajna sanskar. They didn't perform any tap, any knowledge. They didn't attain any knowledge. But they attained bhakti without doing anything. Rama hi keval prema pyara jani lehu jo janani hara. Mila hi na raghupati binu anuraga kiye jog jap jnana viraga. Nobody can realize God without remembering Him, without attachment of mind with Him. Attachment of mind with God is indispensable. If we are missing that part, then we are multiplying in zero only. We are doing nothing at all. So, we should pronounce the name of God with love, with attachment, thinking about God. But there is another question. There are many scriptures. They also say that you just pronounce the name of God. You don't have to remember, you don't have to do anything else. Even Shankaracharya Maharaj, he also said, Shraddha bhaktyor abhavepi Naam sankirtanam samastam duritam nashayati ityuktam. Shraddha bhaktyo bhavepi. If you do not have shraddha, reverence, you don't have bhakti, devotion, even then, you just pronounce the name of God and you will be free from all kind of sins. You will traverse the ocean of Maya only by pronouncing the name of God without any bhakti as well. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanameva va vaikunthanam agrahana maseshagaharam viduhu. Sanketyam. If you are pronouncing, if you are calling someone else also, or you are just pronouncing the name of God, just in joke or whatever, just to laugh for your amusement, without any bhavana. Even then, Asheshaga Haram Vidu, the name of God will finish all your sins. You will get rid of all your sins, even if you are pronouncing the name of in any way. Tulsidas ji said, Bhav kubhav alakh alas hu naam let mangal das dis hu. Bhav kubhav, without bhav or bhav, with bhav. Or when you are yawning, you can say Ram Ram, without any bhavana. Even then, it will be beneficial. It will absolve you from all kind of sins. There is so much power in the name of God. And they give a big example. One example of Bhagavad is very popular in India and everywhere. The Kathavachaks, they all say the same thing. Mriyamano Hare Nama Grin Putropacharitam. They give the example of Ajamil. That he was not a devotee, he was not chanting the name of God. The son, the name of his smallest son was Narayan. So once he was babysitting him outside his home, all of a sudden he didn't see his son Narayan and he called him out Narayan. And right after that he died and he immediately went to Golok. Most of the Kathavachaks say that. Mriyamano Hare Nam Grin Putro Pacharitam. Ajaminopyagadham Kim Puna Shraddhaya Grinan. He was just pronouncing the name of his son. He remembered his son. And he attained Golok. At least we have some reverence for God. When we are chanting here, although we are not doing Rup Dhyan properly, but still we have some reverence for God. Kim Puna Shraddhaya Grinan. Then we must realize God. No. It is completely wrong statement. Completely wrong statement. It is written in Bhagavad in Canto 6, Chapter 2, verse number 24 to 45. You can read it. What is written over there? Actually, Ajamil was a great person. He was a great scholar, very religious, very ethical, very kind. He had all kind of good qualities. He was a very famous, very nice person, very religious person, and he was a scholar as well. But a kusang, a bad association of 1 minute only with a prostitute made him so bad that he fell down so badly that he got married with that prostitute, and then he fathered 11 children. The youngest one was Narayan. He was very, very attached to Narayan. He completely forgot about the knowledge he accomplished in his life. He completely forgot about all religion and ritualistic performances and the good qualities. He forgot about everything. He was so attached to his wife and the child Narayan. So when he was babysitting Narayan, and he called him and he didn't see around him, then he called. And after that, something happened. What happened? He didn't die after that. This is what Bhagavad says. What happened after that? The grace of God. Lord Krishna said, Name bhakta pranashyati. This is my challenge. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. There is no downfall of my devotees. Tinkai sada karau rakhwari, jimi balak rakhai mahatari. I take care of my devotees like a mother. Mother takes care of her little child. In the same way, I also take care of all my devotees. That's why Lord Krishna gave him one more chance to rectify his life. His life was totally muddled up after getting married with that prostitute. He wanted to save him. He wanted to remind him giving one more chance to him. And then, right after saying Narayan, he called his son. He didn't call God. He said Narayan, and after that what happened? He fell in a, he experienced something very peculiar type of thing, like daydream. He went in, he felt like he is seeing a dream. And in dream, it was not too long. In little time, he saw that the people from Yamraj and the messengers of Vishnu both came over there and they were arguing with each other. The messengers of Yamraj were saying, we have to take him. And the messengers of Vishnu were saying, no, he is a good person. We have to take him to Vishnu Lok. So in this conversation, he recalled all the knowledge he gained before. That knowledge had become dormant. He forgot about all the knowledge. But the conversation of the persons of Yamraj and Vishnu, they reminded him everything. And then when he awakened, and he thought, what happened? Kimidam swapna mahosvit shakshat drishtimaya adbhutam. Was it a swapna? What is a dream? What was that? Because it reminded all the knowledge I gained before. I forgot about that. It opened my eyes. So when he recalled the knowledge and he opened his eyes, then after that he did not even remember any person of his family. He completely forgot about his child. He completely forgot about his family. He became totally detached. Ajamilopyatha karnya dutanam yamakrishnyoh dharmam bhagavatam shuddham traivedyam cha gunashrayam. He heard about Vishuddha Dharma, Bhagavat Dharma, Paradharma, Dharma of Atma. And he also heard Traivedyam cha Gunashrayam, the Vedic Dharma, which belongs to our body, according to Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, etc. Varnashram Dharma. He heard both, and it opened his eyes. Iti jata sunirvedaha. The talks of the people of Vishnuji and Yamraj. Iti jata sunirvedaha chana sangena sadhushu ganga dvaramupeyaya mukta sarvanubandhanaha. After that, he was so detached that he renounced the entire world. Iti jata sunirvedaha mukta sarvanubandhanaha. He was free from all kind of attachment, all kind of bondage. And Ganga dvaramupeyaya, he did not die after that. The Bhagavad says, after pronouncing the name of Narayan, he did not die. Ganga dvaramupeyaya, he went to Haridwar. Immediately. He didn't think about anything or anyone else. He went to Haridwar. And what did he do? He started, because now he knows that what should I do? What is my real dharma? What is paradharma? What is the atma of dharma? Who am I? I am not the body, I am the soul. And what is the dharma of soul? He knew everything now, recalled everything. And he started his sadhana. And he did not do sadhana only for a couple of days or couple of months. He practiced devotion over there for 1 year, complete 1 year, without eating anything. He was living in Haridwar at the bank of the Ganges river, and he was drinking the water of Ganges only, nothing else. And there was a temple. He sat down over there. Satasmin deva sadhane asina yogamasthita. In the position of yoga, he sat down over there. Pratyahritya indriyagramam. And then he concentrated completely. He focused towards God. He forgot about all the desires of the senses. He controlled his senses, and then yojamana atmani. He concentrated. He focused himself towards God only. And thus he performed his sadhana. So after the completion of sadhana, after 1 year, then what happened? After that, hitva kalevaram tirthe. In the same sacred place of Haridwar, hitva means he abandoned his own body. His body. Gangayam darshanadanu. He went to Ganges river, he took bath, and after that, hitva kalevaram. He abandoned his body, and sadhya sarupam jagrihe. Immediately. Sadhya means immediately. What happened after having bath in Ganges river? Sarupam jagrihe. He left this body and he attained the form of Bhagavat Parshvavartinam. He attained the divine form of the associates of God after 1 year. And then, Sakam vihaya sa vipro Mahapurusha kinkarai Haimam vimanam aruya Yau yatrishya. After that, he saw that Mahapurusha kinkarai, there were some associates of God came with a divine plane, which is called Pushpak Viman. Haimam Viman. It was made of gold only. They came to take him. So Mahapurusha Kinkarai, with the associates of God, he sat down in that plane, and Yayu Yatra Shriyah Pati, and then he went to Golok. This is the whole story. Anybody can read it. Bhagavat is translated in Hindi, English, and many other languages as well. You can read it very clearly. So this is a kind of confusion, of illusion, that he just took the name of his son Narayan and he attained the divine abode of God. No, it is wrong. I have already explained, no matter what you do, tapasvino dana parayashasvino manasvino mantravidasu mangala kshemam navindanti vinaya darpanam tasmai subhadrashravase namo namah. No matter what you do, tapasvina, if you are doing tapasya or you are chanting day and night, whatever you are doing, without remembering God, without having love for God, without getting attached to God, we cannot attain the ultimate goal of our life. So, it clarifies that Ajamil did not go to the divine abode after pronouncing the name of his son. No, he did not die at that time. Later on also, before he went to the divine abode of Vishnu, he did not die. Hitva Kalevaram. He left his body, himself. Only Mahapurush can do that. We don't leave body. the pran, the life, is forcibly, pulled from our this body. We don't want to leave this body because we are attached to this body. Because of our ignorance, we think this body is me. We are attached to this body. We don't want to leave it. But he left his body himself. The same thing. Gita clarifies it very well that nobody can leave the body. It is said, if you leave your body when you are dying, so at the time, the last moment of your life, if you pronounce the name of God, then you will attain God realization. You will go to divine abode. But nobody can do that. Any material being cannot remember God at the last moment of life. Because when the life is snatched, when life is dragged from this body, we have so much pain that is intolerable. We cannot tolerate that pain. Before death, there is one other stage which is called unconsciousness. If somebody is beating you, there is a limit of our bearing power. So after having some pain, we'll become unconscious. Again, if somebody keep on beating you, then you will die. So before death as well, we become unconscious. We cannot feel anything. We cannot remember anything. We cannot call anyone because we have become unconscious. Plus, at the time of death, we have so much pain. Janmat marat dusah dukho hoi. Like thousands of scorpions are biting us. We feel like that. The devotee says, Krishnattvadiya padapankaj panjarante adyaiva me vishatu manas rajhansa prana prayana samaye kafavata pittaihi kantavarodhana vidhau smaranam kutaste. Oh Shri Krishna, adyaiva me, I wish that I should realize you right now. I wish that padapankaj panjarante adyaime virishatu manas rajahansa. I wish that in the cage of your Charan Kamal, this, my mind, the swan of my mind, should be imprisoned today. Because prana prana samay, at the time of death, kapha vata pittai, phlegm, wind, bile, they will choke my throat. I cannot even remember anything. Smaranam kutaste. When we will have so much suffering, then how can I remember you? It is impossible for me to remember. That's why, please, bestow your grace and take me in the cage of your lotus feet. So nobody can remember. But you may say that Gita says that if somebody remembers, why the Gita is saying? That if somebody remembers me at the last moment of his life, then he comes to me. Yes, but notice what Lord Krishna is saying. Om ityekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam smaran yah prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam yah prayati tyajan deham. The one who goes, who leaves this body, tyajan deham, who leaves this body, only that person comes to my abode. Who can remember God at the time of death? The one who is always remembering God, whose mind is always imprisoned in the lotus feet of God, only that person can remember God at the time of death, because he is remembering all the time, remembering God all the time and having so much bliss of the name of God. Then he has no problem, because he is already God realized. He has already attained Golok. That's why leaving this body is not a big deal for them. They can leave any time. Right after realization of God, any saint can leave this body, they can go to Golok, but they don't do it. They complete the time, the duration of their body, because they have no problem in living in this body as well, because all the time they are enjoying the divine bliss anyway. So, ya prayati tyajan deham. Only those persons go to the divine abode of God. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Again, the Gita is saying, Mam smaran muktva kalevaram. Muktva means leaving. When they leave this body, only those people can go to my abode. So we should not be confused with the episode of Ajamil. We have to remember God all the time. There is one episode of Balmiki also, Ulta Naam Japa Jagjana. He did not even say Ram, he said Mara. Even then he realized God. But there his bhakti. Because of his bhakti, Guru Bhakti. Main thing is Guru Bhakti. If you have so much dedication towards your Guru, that whatever he said, you never use your mind and you just take it as it is, then you can realize God. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathita hyartha prakashyante mahatmana. If you have devotion towards your Guru, just like you have devotion in God, or more than that, even if you do not remember God, but you are totally dedicated to your Guru, then you will attain God realization. Devadyuti challenged Lord Krishna. She said to Lord Krishna, Bhaktir yatha harau mesti tadvarishtha gurayadi mamastitena satyena sandarshayatu me hari. If it is true, she is saying, if it is true that my devotion is more sincere, devotion towards my Guru is more sincere than Harau, than in Hari, than in God. If I love my Guru more than I do with Sri Krishna, if it is true, Sandarshayatu me Hari, then O Sri Krishna, appear immediately, मुझे दर्शन दो. अगर ये सच है कि जितनी भक्ति हमारी आप में है, उससे ज़्यादा भक्ति मेरी अगर गुरु में है, तो इस सत्य के आधार पर मुझे अभी दर्शन दो. और श्री कृष्ण को अपीयर होना पड़ा. श्री कृष्ण gave darshan to him, to her. Every day we sing Acharya Mam Vijaniya Nav Manyet Karichit. There is no difference between God and Guru. And Valmiki trusted the words. When his Guru Naraji said that you keep on chanting Mara Mara until I come back, he did not even ask. It did not even come in his mind to ask that when will you come? How long should I say Mara Mara? So there was, in case of Valmiki, the main thing was Guru Bhakti. Either we should have that Guru Bhakti, that we should never use. Guru ke vachana pratiti na jehi sapne hu sukh siddhi sulabh na tehi je Guru pad pankaj anuragi te lo kahu vedahu bada bhagi. We have to trust. And by the grace of Sri Maharaj Ji, we are going to chant Mahamantra Hare Ram Kirtan. That is also very important. It is called Mahamantra, although it is mantra. There are so many mantras, 100,000 mantras in the Vedas. But this mantra is called Mahamantra. Why? Because all other mantras have some rules. We cannot pronounce the all other mantras anytime, anywhere, without any special kind of aids, etc. We have to have we have to follow many rules. But in this mantra, there is no rule. Anybody can sing, anybody can chant this with any kind of tune, anywhere, sitting anywhere, without any samagri, nothing is needed over there. And the main thing which Maharaj Ji explains, that there are 3 names of God. Many people think Hare Ram, Hare Ram. The Hare means oh, like you say, oh, hey, come here. They think that no, this is Sanskrit because it is month written in Sanskrit. So there are 3 words: Hari, Ram, and Krishna. When we call someone, that is called Sambodhan Vibhakti. In Sambodhan, when we call someone, then the word Hari turns into Hare. The word Ramaha turns into Ram. The word Krishna turns into Krishna. Or He Hari, He Ram, He Krishna. So in this mantra, these 3 names are used. And when we say Hari, it means He Hari. When we say Ram, according to Sanskrit grammar, we say He Ram. When we say Krishna, it means He Krishna. And when we call someone like this, He Ram, He Krishna, He Hari, it means we are calling being very desperate, billowing. We are billowing for him. We are very, very desperate to see him. Arth, जिसको कहते हैं आर्थ होकर पुकारना, हृदय से पुकारना, हे राम, हे कृष्ण, हे हरि. And this is what we have to do. We have to call out Sri Ram, call out him by heart, being extremely desperate. Only then he will come. And when we call, being very desperate, जिसको आर्तनाद कहते हैं, if we call him with great intensity, then naturally we shed tears also. And that is also very important. Premavari vinu sunu khagrai abhiyantar mal kabahu ki jai. Without the tears of love, our mind will never be purified. And without purification of mind, we cannot attain the grace of life. Because nirmal man jan soi mohi bhava, mohi kapat chal chidra na bhava. Lord Ram is saying, I love only those whose mind is pure. So when we shed tears in love of God, then those tears of love purify our heart. Sri Maharaj Ji has also written the same thing. Navajat Shishu Bani Govind Radhe Karu Krindan Man Shuddha Karade. Aansu bahaye ja, aansu bahaye ja, गोविंद राधे. एक दिन आंसू तो ही हरि से मिला दे. हरि गुरु कृपा मानो गोविंद राधे. मन हरि नित जब आंसू बहा दे. सब ज्ञान भूल जाओ, सब ज्ञान भूल जाओ, गोविंद राधे आंसू बहाओ, आंसू हरि से मिला दे। आद्यागमत मंत्र, there is a month in Brahma Sutra, Adyagamat. आद्यागमत मंत्र गोविंद राधे, रोके पुकारो हरि दर्श दिखा दे. So we have to call him out, being very desperate. The intentness, we have to increase the intentness, and we have to shed tears in love of God. This is the method, the real method of doing kirtan. And as per the instructions of Sri Maharaj Ji, we have to do kirtan. We are very fortunate that we are going to start kirtan now for the whole day, but we have to take the maximum benefit only following these lines of Sri Maharaj Ji's Radha Govinda Geet and Maharaj Ji's lectures, that do not perform any kind of sadhana, do not do kirtan without bringing the divine form of Sri Radha Krishna in front of me. This is the essence of the significance of name. Boliye Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai, Ladli Lal ki jai, jai jai Sri Radhe, jai jai Sri Radhe, jai jai Sri Radhe. Now we'll chant a little bit.